Oh, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Dude, gotta keep it pushing, you know?
That's right.
Life always comes at us in different ways, you know, like I've been talking about some situations, but, you know, like I always think is, we don't have control over everything.
No,
you know, and you had a situation at your job that they cut your stuff short, right? Your what was it? What's it called? Instead of 7 days, they cut it to 2 days because of the
Oh,
virus.
that's right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
What was that thing?
Yeah. So we had CineQuest and just found out after 2 days, just found out that because of the virus that the remaining of it's going to be moved to August, which is like almost a week long. So that's like a week long work of potential leads.
Yeah.
Could get, but the best thing is, I actually found a way where I can still contact these leads utilizing Instagram. So a lot of the there's like filmmakers.
Everyone that signed up for all that. How about the list of everyone that signed up for them? There's got to be more ways to get a hold of them.
Oh yeah, there are. Through their website, like who's going to be there, kind of thing. Just all kinds of social media, people that like check in. So there's little nicks and crannies. It's you just have to find where those places are and then attack.
Well, yeah, and see if we can be of service to us. You know, we always have all kinds of stuff, situations that always comes up in our life, and there are road bumps, right?
That's right.
Might be roadblocks, but we always got to find a way to get through it. And even the little stuff always distracts us. You know, we always have little stuff that distracts us. You have stuff that distracts you. I have stuff that distracts me, and sometimes they're major, sometimes they're tiny. But I think it's all in our head because all we can do is the best of our ability, and the rest, the ball just keeps on rolling. You know, if you think about it that way, all we got to do is continue to work. And by I say work, our industry, yours and ours, is both about servicing.
That's right.
We're about service.
That's right.
Who can we serve? Who can we help? Who can we assist to help them reach their goals? Because that's our thing, is to make sure we help people reach their goals, accomplish what they want to accomplish. Exactly. Because we have a certain talent, a certain skill, which certain people are going to need it. And if they need it, but they don't know we're out there, then how are they going to use it?
I tell people that all the time. It's not. I'm not in the realm of just billboards.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the realm of helping you get leads.
Yeah.
I'm in the realm of taking your brand and getting it more out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you're in the realm of, you're in the realm of helping people find that home for their living situation.
Or sell their home.
Or sell their home.
For maximum amount of price, retail price.
Or invest to rent.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ways you can go about it.
Right. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of things we can do as far as our industry and your industry. But the main thing is, getting in front of people.
That's right.
Getting our name and the conversation of people that need our service. And there's so many different ways of doing it. But, like I always say, and, we were just talking about it. We had a little note here. What was it? What was the note? Check that out.
Yeah.
What does it say?
We're going to get a close-up on that. If you work really hard and are kind, amazing things will happen. I truly believe that.
Let's get that right there. Check that out. Right there. So if we're doing those things, we're working really hard. I mean, it's Saturday night. We're working.
Yeah.
And if we're kind, people like kind people. If we're helpful and we know what's going on, then everything's going to work out for us. So one of the things that helps us to get better with our clients is us understanding our job and our profession better. The more professional we are understanding, the more we study, the more we research, the more we're able to come up with other options for our clients. Because sometimes our clients, they don't understand. For me in real estate, they don't know what to do when it comes to buying a house or even selling a house. Yours is the same thing. And for me, when I'm cold calling people or door knocking people, or even just in the mall, and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And start talking. Say what?
I helped you out with those cold calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're good at it. And so what happened was, we're just talking to people. Yeah. And everyone has a different situation, a different need, different want, different desire, different goals, different expectations. They have different needs in their life. And sometimes they don't even know what they want. They want something like this, but they can't even come up with a plan. So that's when, at this point, for me, I know what I'm kind of doing. You know what you're kind of doing. You want to market to a certain amount of people. My clients want to go here, but how does that work? How can I sell my house at the same time and buy another place and not be homeless?
Yeah.
That's one of the things is, okay, I got to sell, But then what if my purchase falls through or something? Then I'm homeless. Gotcha. So at that point, we got to do certain things, and that's when I begin to explain how we work the law in our favor, the real estate law, and how we put it to work for you. As far as being able to get certain goals, you got to make certain steps, certain patterns. You got to take certain actions, and these actions sometimes are a must to get to this goal. And for your clients, my clients, you tell us what you need. If we can help you out, we'll help you out. If not, then hey, I wish you the best.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing. You know, we're not going to be able to help 100% of the people. I wish we could, but in reality, we're not going to be able to help 100% of the people. But we want to help the right people that need our help.
That's right.
You know,
they have to, it's something I kind of came to the realization of just recently, where not only are the buyer or the potential buyer qualifies us, but we have to qualify them as well.
And that comes by asking the right questions.
Exactly.
You know, in the sales industry, it's a service industry, but we have to be able to ask the right questions to help people. You know, and it's making sure that they get what they want, you know, in the time they want, for the price they want, and they get the right results, and making them happy. You know, that's one of the biggest things. You know, you can say, you know, certain things about our businesses. You know, if they want a certain product, a certain result, okay, they get the service that they want and the time frame that they want, and they're happy, then we deserve to get paid. You know, but we got to fulfill all these items first, and then at the end we get paid. But we got to make sure that our service is good, and that's an everyday thing that we got to work on continuously, because some people don't even know what they want. They kind of know what they want, but we got to help them get what they want. You know, that's the same for you. Same for you. You know, I bet you come across this all the time. I want to do this, this, and this. But what happens, they don't even know kind of what they need to do, or what actions, what steps they need to take.
I mean, we have our own like 5-point checklist. And like one of the things is locations.
Yeah.
So I come to the realization where if someone ambiguously tells me like, well, they want these particular areas, well, then I'm going to scrutinize them a little harder, because I'm coming across people that seem like they were real, but then turns out they weren't as 100% in it as I thought they were. And the locations mattered, because maybe they wanted to go check out the locations. And it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought you knew about the locations. That's why you told those to me. But if they have all pieces of what we call the minimum required information, then we can move on, and I know that they will be a qualified client.
Yeah. And with that, at the same time, when we say kind of scrutinize, I know you mean it in a nice way.
In a nice way.
And but that just means more pre-qualification, because they're pre-qualifying us also.
That's right.
So we got to understand, as much as we're pre-qualifying them, that means asking them questions and make sure we can serve them and help them. They're pre-qualifying us, or asking us the right questions to make sure this guy knows what he's talking about, and this can give him the result. You know, because people need our help, and we got to make sure we can help them right. And how do we do that? Is making them feel important, because most of our clients are important. I say most because every now and then we come across a client that's not as nice yet. We still got to give them the same exact attention and give them the best results.
Oh yeah, you got to, if you're doing 100% for one person, it doesn't work out, you got to transfer that 100% back to the next person.
Yeah, just give 100% to all of them. You know, at the same time, it's just something I'm not gonna. I think what you're saying is they're not appreciating you 100%. You know, and that happens all the time. But we got to give them 100% no matter what. They deserve everything. Well, they appreciate it. That's not our problem. Like I said at the beginning, hey, we do our best. You know, and what we can't control, the ball just keeps on rolling. You know, stuff is always gonna come up in our life, personal life and business life, and emotional life, spiritual life, whatever. We just do our best and keep the ball rolling.
That's right.
And that's what some of our clients, they don't understand what they want. Some do get what they want from us, and they might have expected something a little different along the way.
Right.
Yet what do we do about that? What do we do about it? we continue to serve, help, follow up, you know, have a conversation about that, because there's always miscommunication in a lot of transactions.
Oh yeah.
But that just comes with more communication.
Right.
Really, that's the main thing. We're having a conversation. I'm asking you questions. Can I help you more? And how can I help you better? How can I help you better? If you ask me that, how can I help you better? I'll be like, man, this guy cares. Okay, this is what I kind of need. And then it comes upon you and your company, or me and my company, if we can give you that. You know, can we give you that or not? And then if we can, then awesome, let's rock it out.
Yeah.
You know,
I totally agree.
Because that's us. We're service. We're service. We're in the service industry, so that's one of the biggest things.
Speaking of which, so in a business sense, then, would you consider yourself more in marketing or sales?
You know, it's a good question.
So
more
service,
marketing or more sales or more customer service
or more customers, or is it all just kind of blend and wrap into like?
You know, it's kind of like when people say a simple thing like, "What do you prefer?"
Hey, get in the chair.
It's kind of like when you say, "Okay, what do you prefer? Onion rings or French fries?" Well, is there any other option? How about sweet potatoes? When you go to Red Robin, I'll be like, "Would you want sweet potatoes, French fries?" And I'll be like, "Can I have my burger with a couple of onion rings, some French fries, and sweet potatoes?" And then they go, "Sir, we have unlimited French fries." And I'm like, "Shh, hook it up." You know what I mean? That's how the best of all worlds. So if you think about where my marketing, customer service, or sales, well, in that aspect, why can't we be like Red Robin and give you everything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we gotta do everything. Why do we keep coming back to Red Robin? I go every month. I know it's not the healthiest, but man, that stuff tastes so good.
Yeah, I would like to go.
But why do we keep going back to Red Robin? Because they give us all the options and it's so good.
That's right.
It's so good, they give us all the options. So if you think about our customer service, if we can be a little bit more like Red Robin and give them all the options at a fair price, good timing, and they get what they want, then what happens? The customer pays at the end because they're satisfied. Same thing with us. You know, here's what we offer. Here's what we can do. Here's a little extra I can give you. You know, other people are getting these type of results. Maybe you can call this client. You know, maybe get a little a referral from people. Maybe a little visual, a little video from people. I get a little for me. I get my feedback from Zillow. You know, I have clients give me a review for Zillow.com, and then they write a nice little review, and then I have that always on my phone. It's like, here, client, here's what my past 12 clients said about me. Here's what my past 40 clients said about me. You know, check that out. And then that's a nice little review for us. You know what I mean? And so, for that aspect, you know, always having recommendations for people is always nice. Referral or
what now for a realtor, and I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you're either one of or maybe the hardest working that I've ever seen, and but yet I like how all these different ways that you market yourself, get leads. Whenever someone that you even may know that's a potential buyer, you even ask them all the time, hey, are you trying to sell a home?
all the time.
I don't see that in a lot of people who are in any kind of
Industry.
sales industry. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
You know, it could be lack of education. It could be lack of, and I'm not talking like school. I'm talking like, you know, just in general how to market or sales or even business wise. I've also ran across just could be people that are lazy, and I've also run across people who know that they should be doing it, but they don't want to take the right steps into doing so. They're in a particular mindset and they don't want to change. So I've actually worked with quite a few people like that before. So I kind of want to touch upon that with you and get your thoughts. Maybe something that you could expand with, or even someone who would be watching this could kind of take and put towards their own marketing for 2020 or 2021.
I would say there's a lot of things for me. You know, everyone's got to dig in their own soul and figure out what works for them and why they're doing certain things. For me, is the why. You know, I came from immigrant parents. We were broke. You know, they didn't speak the language. I just knew that they worked. You know, that's what I got to do. If I can add on some Americano education, some USA education, then I'm on board. So I should go a little faster. But ever since I was a child, I had the immigrant mentality, and I understood that working gives us a good life. And we were broke and poor, and I didn't want to be broke and poor.
Yeah.
So, you know, before I even hit puberty, I was hustling. You know, you remember those Now or Laters?
Yeah.
When they were like 5 cents.
That's right.
Okay, I remember I was buying those Now or Laters for 5 cents, and I'd go to the store, to the school and sell them for 25 cents. I don't know, you know, I was like, man, I'm making $4 a day, $3 a day. To me, that was a fortune. Back then, from having nothing, and I can turn $1 into, you know, $3 or $4, $5 in one day. I was like, damn, that's cool, you know. But that kept continuing. Once I understood that, I can multiply my money, I can sell, I can provide a need. Yeah. I was providing an illegal need because remember when we were in elementary school, we were the same age. We weren't allowed to take candy.
No,
you know.
That's right.
So I was providing a need that students wanted. It was only 25 cents, but to me it was a big margin. But you know, as teenage life, you know, kept pounding. Through my 20s, I kept pounding. I stayed focused. But from my 20s, 30s, and now 43, one of the things is I always wanted a good ass life. I always wanted like a good life. You know, I want to be happy, peaceful, have some cash flow. I knew I wasn't going to be a billionaire, but I know I can create a little bit of cash flow, so I'm not stressing as much for my kids, my family, my future. And, you know, and I push and I push and I push. And I failed a lot because I went broke 3 times, bro.
Oh, wow.
0 is not the bottom. You can go beyond 0. I know, because I've been there. I'm beyond 0 negative. You can go negative.
How'd you get out?
You know.
So someone reaches rock bottom, and everyone's different. Everyone's got different situations.
See, it's a mindset.
It's a good general thing.
It's a mindset. Everyone says a mindset. Yeah, that's true. You know, Grant Cardone has this one thing that I've always thought. I've always thought this, and you know, I just started listening to Grant Cardone a few years ago, and he's cool. You know, he says some wacky stuff, but he says some pearls, throws some pearls out there for as far as finances.
10x.
10x, yeah, 10x. That's extreme, but you know, if you can do 3 or 4x, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, but ever since I was a teenager, I worked almost every single day. Almost every single day. If I wasn't going to school, I was working school in the afternoon. Making pizzas in the afternoon from 5 to 10, 5 to 10:30. Every weekend I was working. My college days, if I wasn't going to school that day in college, I was working. So every day, all my 20s, I worked almost every single day. Every single day. I thought, you know, I'd rather work hard now. That way I don't have to work as hard when I'm 55, 60, 70, 80. I can be cool. You know? If I can trim down my expenses and increase all my cash flow coming in, not only from my sales, my job, but if I can get one investment 1 year, and in 3 or 4 or 5 years I can get another investment, and 2 or 3, 4 years later I can get another one, and I keep going that way. Then the cash flow will eventually start kicking in, because I understood that, and still yet I went broke 3 times. But what did I keep doing? I learned. Look behind you. Books, videos, audios. I kept learning. Like, these books are something that I kept putting in my brain, you know? And so I just kept firing and firing and firing. I didn't stop. The last time I went broke was, let's say the major one. The major one when I went broke, it was 2008, 9, 10, you know, when all the market went down. Boom. I was all invested, all in houses. Boom, 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 boom. Everything went. People stopped paying the rents. I couldn't pay the mortgage. People were like, all right, well, I can't pay my mortgage anymore. The house was worth about 1/3 of what I bought it for.
Wow. And
so this doesn't make sense anymore. But I went beyond 0, negative 0. So what did I do? I was, at that time, I was with the sheriff's department. I got injured. I didn't have no income coming in. So at that time, I always knew I wanted to be a realtor. So before I got out of the sheriff's completely, I was already applying for a license. Got my license, and I started working 7 days a week. 7 days a week. That went on for years, because I was beyond 0. This is 0. I was down here. But I knew if I just stayed grinding, if you work really hard and are kind, amazing things will happen. Work really hard, you're kind, amazing things will happen. So I don't know if I was the kindest guy because I was just grinding, but I've tried to be as nice as possible. But what I did do is I worked really hard, and amazing things started happening. A lot of things were happening. People would just call me saying that they want to sell their house because I talked to them a year ago. I talked to them, one person, I talked to them 3 years ago. They called me up and said, can you come over and list my house? Because you're always nice, you send me letters. I was sending letters, you know, staying in contact. They were saying, I'm always getting letters, can you come over and sell my house for me? I was like, sure. They were like talking to me like they knew me, It was, hey, Abel, this, all right, cool, what's your plans? I'm going out here, moving out here because I'm retiring from PG&E. It's time for me to cash out and I'm gone. Can you come over tomorrow? I was like, sure. What's your name? And what's your address again? But I stayed working. And so I think the thing that got me out is I just stayed working. I stayed working. And sometimes, I was talking to my Aunt Jacinta the other day, and I was telling her, you know, how's everything going? I was like, it's going cool. You know, and she goes, how's real estate, this and that. And somehow got into the topic of, you know, there was this time frame in real estate when I went, if something was weird, I was cold calling, I was door knocking, I was sending out my cards, I was sending out notes to everyone that I met when I was door knocking, but nothing was happening. I was working, I was grinding. For some reason, I couldn't get any contracts going. It was strange. I didn't have a paycheck for 7 months. 7 months, no paycheck. But I had reserves. I've always been good with my savings. So 7 months with no paycheck, but I was still getting up, door knocking, cold calling, following up, sending my letters, doing everything I was supposed to do, learning my market, staying on top of the statistics. And all of a sudden, something happened. People started calling me, and people I was calling, they said, yeah, I want to do something. Yeah, I want to sell my house. Yeah, I want to do something. And they just started hitting, boom, 3 contracts that month. Next month, 4 contracts that month. And I was like, dang. Well, if an average realtor does 2 to 3 deals a year, I just killed them in 1 month. But if you put together all those months that I was working, because no matter what, as long as we're working, God, Jesus, you know, the energy, love, life, whatever you call God, Allah, whatever it is, as long as we're doing good, God is going to pay us. He's going to let the universe pay us, whoever your God is. But as we're working, it's a matter of time when, boom, here's your paychecks. Here's everything you've been working for. So we're not working in vain. As long as we're working, we're going to get paid. So to me, when you ask me that, it's like a matter of just staying consistent and just going and going and going. I had a little bit of time off, but it's time for me to get back into it again, hard again. It's not like I slacked off. I just wasn't going as hard as I used to always go. But it's go time again because I want to. Not that I need to, but I want to, and I want to help people. And I see a lot of people that I've talked to that years ago, they're like, ugh, a realtor. I'm like, ooh, tell me your story. Tell me your story about, that realtor, because I know I'm one. I want to hear about these stories. But people need help. Really good people need really good help from a really good agent.
How many people are you hitting up a day?
On an average, I talk between 100 and 130 people a week. And that's good conversations. Yep. Like a conversation when people are like, and that's false. A conversation to me sometimes is when I call people, tell them my name is Abel, calling around the neighborhood because we just sold a home right around your neighborhood, and we're calling you because we know that when one home sells, usually 2 more neighbors are thinking of selling right away, which is true. And so I asked them, so I want to ask you, when do you plan on moving? And they'll say, I don't have any plans on moving. Bye. Boom. To me, that's a conversation.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you were thinking about moving, you were going to tell me, yes, I'm thinking about moving. But you also told me, no, I'm not thinking about moving. Our conversation just became very short. But I got the information I wanted.
Yeah.
And if you actually need a realtor at that time, guess what? You have me under the line. Sometimes I have conversations 30, 40 minutes with a single person. And we're just talking real estate. We're talking about life. Because why? Because on a sales call, you're trying to figure out if you can help them to the best of your ability. So they're interviewing me, and I'm interviewing them. So they're getting to know me, I'm getting to know them. If we're gonna enter into this contract of whatever amount of money it is, doesn't matter big or small. To me, it's like saying that I'm selling an $800,000 home. Okay. If you're gonna trust me with the $800,000 piece of property to sell, you better ask me the right questions. If not, I'm going to ask you the right questions so you get the right answers out of me also. Because we're talking, we're having a conversation. I want you to know who you're dealing with, because you're going to deal with a good dude, a really good, honest dude. But I'm also going to show you that I understand this market. Here's which one's going to sell for. Here's what this home sold for. Here's what this home sold for. Here's how much inventory there is on the market. Here's what sold in the last 3 months, 6 months, and the last 30 days. So at this point, I'm telling you, I'm telling you indirectly with my information that I'm an expert. And people love dealing with experts, especially if you're nice and you care about them. And I really care about people when I want to help them about real estate, because it's my passion.
Now, speaking of which, if you could sum up then for those realtors that may be struggling, I guess sum up how they should be working in order to get out of any rut that they may be in, or if they're green and they've maybe been around for like a year and they've only sold maybe like one house.
If they've been green, only sold about one house. Maybe at this time, get around people that know how to sell. You know, it doesn't matter if it's just houses, cars, marketing, being able to do what you do, your talent.
It's very similar to real estate, actually.
It is. It's extremely similar. That's why I say when me and you talk, we understand each other.
You're right.
Get around people that know how to sell. That's number one. If it's getting on a team, getting a coach, getting with someone like you, getting ideas, because you're talking to the whole world. You're talking to the whole world about what do you do about selling? What do you do about selling? What do you do about marketing? What do you do about customer sales, service? You understand. You're talking to all kinds of people, and a lot of people are listening to you. So one of the things I would say when we listen to you, you know, audios, books, videos, you know, learn. That's one of the things is we gotta learn and then take massive action. Because when you're new, people know that you're new. When you're new, people know that you're new. They're like, oh, this guy's green. This guy's green. I don't know if I can trust him. But if you keep going, it's a matter of time before you get practice and you get comfortable. You get more comfortable with people. And then people start trusting you. And if you understand your industry, because it's just not about selling and talking. It's understanding people's needs and then understanding being a professional at your industry. When people ask me about certain prices, certain homes, certain areas, if I haven't studied their certain market, for example, let's say someone calls me and they want to sell a house in Half Moon Bay. Right now, I'm not going to have the answer exactly what your home will sell for. But you give me a day, I'll figure it all out, because I'll go visit the homes, I'll understand the market, I'll look at everything what's sold, what hasn't been sold, why this home sold quicker than this one, why this home is still in the market, why did this home take 90 days to sell, why did this home sell quickly in 2 weeks. So with all this information, I already got enough, experience, talent, whatever you want to call it, to be able to go into any market and be able to say, if I haven't studied this market, give me a day, and I'll figure out what your home will sell for. But that's all of us. All of us got to become an expert in our own industry. And so for the new people, you got to become an expert in the industry. So when you're talking to people, you know what you're talking about. And then they're like, oh, I like this guy. He's young, but he knows what he's talking about. We're experts. Let's act like it. Let's speak like it. Let's serve like it. You know, you're an expert at yours, I know, because we talk all the time.
Right.
You know, and you've known me we know each other how many years?
Years now, yeah.
Years, you know. And so
4 or 5 years, something like
that. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. 2015, 2016,
okay.
something like that.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, so we've gone over kind of like, without really saying or identifying it, but like a sales funnel, if you will. So at least yours, where like there's knocking on doors, there's calls, there are
mailers, and handwritten cards, and then
card. Tell me about the handwritten card.
It's simple. Here you go.
Is it just randomly, like you're giving them?
No. I meet people. I'm door knocking, or I'm cold calling, you know, and we have a nice little conversation, and they're interested a little bit about real estate. They're nice. Or my cousin wants to buy. I was thinking about buying. She was here last week. She said she wanted to buy a house. Or my daughter, because old people are always at home, they pick up the phone. My daughter was thinking about buying a house. She's in Cabo. She's a real story. She's in Cabo right now. They just got married 2 weeks ago. They're on their honeymoon. They said when they want to come back, they want to get started on buying a house. Cool. True story. So what do? Here's my little card. That's
nice.
You know, nice and simple. And what I don't do like the little pens. I do like a hi, pleasure to speak, blah, 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 blah. Pleasure to speak this day. You told me about your daughter was thinking about buying a house. When she comes back to Cabo, and I would love to call her and speak to her about purchasing her home. I would love to help her and her husband. You told me that we're going to come back on this day, so I'll call you after this day.
So it's like there's general information and then there's something personal.
Correct. Well, it's all personal, kind of. You think about it. They gave me their information, who they were, who wants to buy a house, where they're at, and when they're going to come back. And I told everything that I already spoke about on the phone. I just kind of repeated everything. But how often do you get a nice little card in the mail? Hardly ever.
Hardly ever, yeah. I know one guy that sends it to me, but there's nothing personal though, other than just my name.
Yeah.
You know.
So whenever I talk to people and I see there's something there that they might want to buy or sell a house, I always send something. Like if I meet you on the phones or I meet you in person, I send a letter no matter what. Boom, 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 boom. They told me something about their life or this and that. Simple letter. Nice meeting you this day. I'm glad you told me you just got a brand new car. If you're in need to buy a house or sell a house, please call me. I'm at your service. It was fun talking to you. Same. Even if they're not thinking about doing anything, but we spoke about something personal. Because I've had people call me years later. That's it. One time I spoke to them. They're not interested in buying a house right now, but I'm going to send them a letter. If you need anything, I take my card right here. If you need anything, here's my card. In the future, years down the line, whatever, give me a call.
It happens.
And it's the only time I've ever sent them anything. That's it. And then years later they call me. Hey boy, you remember me? We spoke this and this, and you sent me a card. People remember the card because hardly anybody sends cards anymore.
No.
And especially handwritten, especially highlighted colors and all this stuff. So it works for me. Years later, you're asking for help. Cool, let me help you out.
What about online presence or any kind of outdoor?
I need to do more of that. I just do kind of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, not too much Instagram, just pictures of selling. I just sold this home. I do like 30, 40 second view of a house that we're about to list or create investment.
Well,
so I don't do as much because I'm dumb in the social media. And so, but I prefer to talk to
you have good social media.
I do a little bit, not as much as I like, but.
And I notice it's mainly like a Latin crowd.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Look, so
they feel comfortable with you. They can relate.
White folks love me too, bro.
Good. No, I'm just saying though, like a lot. At least the posts that I have seen.
Yeah. Well, it's like I got a lot more Latin followers, so I speak in English and Spanish, so I'm able to go off in both lingos, whatever's needed. And then it also helps that I'm a Marine. I'm a veteran, so everyone loves a veteran. It doesn't matter who you are. You love a veteran, so I get a lot of people that want to support a veteran, which I love, and so. But on social media, I guess I should do a little bit more. I'm just good at talking to people on the phone and cold calling.
But the point is, you have like a wide sales funnel. Like it's pretty wide from what I've seen over the years. And then to kind of go further, when someone actually is like, hey, I have a sister who wants to buy a house or who's thinking about selling. I'm thinking about selling in the next month. And then that's when you go into that qualifying stage. And then we go over what you just went over. And so I presume that that's kind of like your process. And then you go into the next process, which would probably be like, okay, we're going to set a date for showing a home. Is that
we gotta get them. Yeah, we gotta get them qualified. Right there, right before showing them a home, is get them qualified. Give me all your documents. Let's get you qualified. Let me see what you qualify for. Send the paperwork off to the lender. The lender comes back and tells me they qualify for $895,000. Perfect. Then we're off in shopping and we start to negotiate in terms and all that stuff to service. And then they get the keys to the house. So, but it is a process. As far as you're saying, the funnel. They say some people say a wide funnel is good. Some people say a focused funnel is good.
Grant Cardone says a wide funnel.
Yeah, we hear everything of both worlds. Some people say focused funnel.
What's that?
Say you only want to focus on. So, like I said, what do? I do door knocking, cold calling, mailers, personal hand letters. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of realtors don't do a lot of that stuff. Some people call expire, some people call for sale by owners, some people call notice of default, some people call notice of trustee sales, some people call probate, some people call living trust. There's all kinds of stuff. Some people only call them properties that are red flagged by the county. That means, my neighbor, they have no money. No money, they can't get no money. They don't have a job, they're retired, but they have a lot of equity. But they can't get a loan. and they're getting fines because their property is red tagged. I talked to them, think about selling this. Oh, we wish, but we have this much red tags on our property. I know, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm not. There's a reason I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm just being nice and talking. They said, we'd like to, tell me about your red flag. Why is your property in trouble? Why this and that? Oh, we built an extra unit in the back. We can't destroy it. Cost too much money. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Have you ever thought about selling? Because you can't refinance. How much money do you make? I already know they're retired, obviously. And I said, well, here's the options. Have you thought about selling and then getting another place smaller? You don't need this big place. You got tons of equity. Use it. You don't have this problem anymore. So there's different ways of getting business. It's just, do you do all of these, or do you focus on a few things? Like I'm starting to narrow down and focus on a few things.
The stuff that works for you.
Stuff that works better for me. It's more efficient, you know. When you become a father and you have kids, you want to focus more on your kids. So you want to make sure you focus on certain things. And I guess that comes with time, right? Because when you're young, dumb, and full of energy, you're just like, I can do it all.
That's right.
And true, we all think we can do it all. But then you get older and wiser, and you're like, all right, if I can get the same results from focusing on this as I do from doing all of this, then why don't I just focus on these things, get laser focus, and get the same results or even better results, because we're going to get more comfortable. So there's some things that I'm not going to do anymore, but some things I'm going to focus a little more on, because they get us the good profit margins, you know, and we serve the right people, and people are happy with us, and we're happy, and we create a good life for us, which is what we want when we're working. We want to create a good life for us and our kids, you know.
Real quick, what do you think of the market and with the home market in the last few years, and then do you have a prediction in this year and maybe the next couple of years?
Well, a lot of it runs off of emotion, right? As far as if, like, I got like 3 calls today about the coronavirus thing. 1, 2, 3 calls, 3 conversations about the coronavirus today. They're saying, do you think the market's gonna crash because the stock market is doing this and the stock market is doing that, and you know, the coronavirus might destroy the market? Maybe, maybe not. You know, from what I see, the stock market is not linked to the housing market. A lot of people think it is, but it's not. You know, we gotta look at the interest rates, where it's going. We look at California, because that's what matters to me. Let's look at the Bay Area. That's what matters to me and you. You know, as far as industries, you look at everyone that's hiring in the Bay Area, and everyone is hiring in the Bay Area. There's so many jobs available right now, you know? And so you think about that and you say, okay, our market is doing what? Interest rates are nice. Homes are selling when you put them on the market. The jobs, the unemployment is really low. Everyone's working. We're happy. You want to work some extra overtime, make some money, you can. So, and there's so many other steps, right? But as far as I see it, as far as our market here in the Bay Area, Northern California, I think it's going to be stable. I think it's going to continue to go up. I think some parts of the market might be a standstill. The ones who believe more of the media garbage that goes around. Because if I'm getting calls here, 3 calls just today, imagine other parts of the world or other parts of the country when they believe the media. And be like, oh God, something's going to happen to the market, and people stop buying. But here, we're a lot smarter.
Does the housing market, is that affected, or I should say, they say the lack of homes in California, does that affect the housing market in any way? I think it does.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. Of course it does. So that's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of homes on the market right now. So when we don't have a lot of homes on the market, supply and demand is always going to be there. And we've been having this issue for the past, 8-9 years? So when you see what's going on in the market, and there's a lot of money coming into the Bay Area, Northern California, and everyone's getting paid, people are able to buy homes. You know, it's a matter of time before people say, I don't want to rent anymore, I want to buy a house. And if you're competing against a bunch of other people that are the same as you, and you're bidding up the homes, that's just part of business. That's just part of life here in the Bay Area. You know, when me and you were younger, here in the Bay Area, we always heard about, we're going to be landlocked, we're going to be landlocked. I remember hearing the word landlocked when I was 6 years old. I was in Redwood City. You know, it was 1983, I think it was. Maybe 1982, right around there. And I heard the word landlocked, and I was like, that's a cool word. What is that? Landlocked. But that means when we run out of land and we can't build any more homes. Well, finally, you know, almost 40 years, 35, 36 years later, we're landlocked. And now what are we doing here? We're building up.
Yeah.
Mid-rise, high-rises, they're all going up here in the Bay Area.
See, I also heard it was government on kind of
Government
restricting
on the contract.
building, yeah, and then developers being like, hey, if we got to go through all this stuff, what's the upside?
It's quite the contrary. There was restrictions, but now Gavin Newsom, which is a really good governor, he made everything so much easier for builders to build, including the ADUs, additional dwelling units, when you build another house behind your house. So he loosened out all the restrictions, so it's better for builders to build, because what is happening in California, last year, a bunch of cities got fined because they weren't providing housing for their people. There's a certain percentage, certain amount of homes that every city has to give permits for the builders and developers to make new homes, to provide housing for the people. If the cities aren't doing that, the government fines them, the state fines them. So they're getting forced to start giving permits. So when you can do that, for us builders that are doing this stuff are saying, okay, make it easy for me, or else I'm not gonna do this anymore. Or else if I gotta do it, then the buyer's gonna pay for all of this, a lot more. So we gotta make it also for all of us to be able to buy, you know? We gotta be able to purchase.
Right.
If the prices are way up here, it's because all of these laws are ineffective, then how are we gonna purchase?
Do you take
So it's gotta be a balance.
Do you hone in on the people that want to sell because they want to get out of the state? Are there a lot of those people?
I would say out of the state, I would say maybe it's 1 out of 5, maybe.
Oh, really?
It's not as many.
It's not as many that they. Oh, really?
No, it's not as many.
So
1 out
like-
of 5, maybe
so like-
maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 4, maybe 1 out
So
of
like
5.
you don't run into people that are like, oh, I'm moving to Nevada, or I'm moving to Arizona. I want to.
But not as much as people think.
Oh,
Okay, you hear about all this that people are moving out.
right.
That's a lot of renters because they can't afford their shell shocked by, I gotta pay for this house because I came from, Iowa when a house cost $120,000 and it was 2,000 square feet, compared to a house that's 900 square feet and I gotta pay $800,000. That doesn't make sense. So they move out. What people are doing here is they're selling their homes from San Jose. Maybe they're going to Modesto, Stockton, Sacramento, but they're staying in California. California's pretty awesome.
I just heard about that with Sacramento because I guess apparently people in Sacramento now are like mad because there's so much traffic from all
Correct.
the Bay Area people.
Correct. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's like East Bay. The East Bay it didn't have so much traffic. Now it's bombarded. You know?
Yeah, that's right. All the people moved to Oakland.
Correct. And now traffic is switching up. Now, traffic in San Jose is going to be a lot more. San Francisco's bombarded. But, we got to understand what's going on and say, it's just going to become like LA.
Yeah.
It's just going to become like LA with the traffic, and that's what it is. As far as what else we're going to do about it, we're landlocked. Money's here. More jobs are coming here. People like living here. If you think about here in the Bay Area, say you live in San Jose, you have Santa Cruz 30 minutes away, the beach. You have awesome restaurants literally all over the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like going to San Francisco, right?
And the weather.
Also for the pier. The weather. And then what about skiing? Skiing is 3 hours away.
Right.
So you have everything here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Everything is nearby. Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Lakes.
I mean, heck, there's a reason why foreigners still want to work here.
Correct. Yeah, you know what?
Besides the money.
It doesn't matter. Our weather. Everything to do here. So.
Okay, so you like to concentrate on one thing, and you're saying that realtors have multiple ways of getting leads.
Correct.
Multiple ways of.
I'm not saying
getting,
I'm concentrating on one.
prospects.
I'm not saying I'm concentrating on one thing. I'm just not doing all of this anymore. All of these funnels. I'm just gonna
Right.
shrink it up and focus on like 4 things, and that's it.
And then does it matter with like houses in like the 300 to 600,000 or maybe like in the millions, like are you concentrating on a certain level, like or is it maybe a certain area?
It's a certain area that I focus on.
Certain area.
Certain area that I focus on, and that area has a certain price point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just me focusing on that area, and doing these other certain things, and then focusing on certain people that have this problem, and then I'll focus on helping these people, So that's what I focus on, and then obviously my past clients, referrals, people that I worked with before, they're gonna give you more business if I say talking to them and helping them.
How big are referrals for you?
I would say they're about a third of my business. About a third of my business. So I just stay in contact with them, send them cards, give them a call every now and then. You know, even you, how often do we talk? You know, every few weeks I give you a call, send you a text. Hey, what's up? What you doing? I do the same thing to all people that I love. In reality, I have 20 people that there's a lot more people, but 20 people, I should probably expand it to 30. You know what? I'm going to expand it to 30. 30 people that I call consistently just when I'm driving, just because I like them. It's not even that I ask for referrals. It's just that I like them. I like hearing their voice. I like talking to what you're doing here, what's going on. And they want to hear about me too. You know, so like when I call you and we talk, hey, what you doing, this, and this. What do you mean? You go to a restaurant lately? What are you doing tonight?
You ask me what shows.
What shows? I ask you all the time, what shows are you watching on Netflix? You know, because you talk to a lot more people that are into the Netflix stuff. And that's cool. If I could just talk to you instead of watching 21st episode shows, I just tell you, which one? This one. Let me focus on this one. But I do that with all my friends. Tell me certain things, and everyone tells me about certain things that's going on in life. And it's just because I like talking to people, you know. And from there, people will refer me. People refer me. It's not like I'm trying to. I'm with my 20 people that I like most. And like I said, I'm gonna do it to 30. Jump it up to 30. I just call them because I want to hear about them. Yeah. You know. And sooner or later, what I know is real estate. If you have a house, if you don't have a house, you want to have a house. If you have one house, sooner or later you're gonna want to have a second house. So if I help you get you one house, if you don't have one, you're gonna want one sooner or later.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
And then if you get one, sooner or later you'll be like, yeah, I want a second one. Cool. And after you get the second one, we're off to the races.
Yeah. See, that's always been kind of like a dream of mine to do. And you know, we brought up Grant Cardone earlier. He's in the mindset of, and I guess some of the people that he deals with, don't own, don't buy, rent. What do you think of that?
Common sense. Does that make common sense?
Well, his whole thing was, if I'm not locked down, I'm able to move if I ever have to.
For you, how long have you lived in your city, your county, or your state? Are you moving? I'm not moving. I'm not moving. Are you moving?
No.
Does that advice make sense for you? Doesn't make sense for me. So when I say Grant Cardone's cool, but sometimes it's just some wacky information, some wacky advice. You gotta understand where that advice is coming from, why he's saying it. You know,
right.
He thinks single-family residents are a bad idea. He thinks duplexes, fourplexes are a bad idea. Why? Understand his angle. He's a good dude. He's got a good business model. But his main thing is invest with me. Give me your money and I'll invest it for you. That's his main thing. He has some great ideas, great quotes. If you take action on what he says, you'll do good. But I can't say 100% of his information is correct. Because in the Bay Area, for us that are listening in the Bay Area, you buy a house in the Bay Area, you bought it 5 years ago, how much is it worth now?
Yeah.
About 25% more. You bought it for $600,000, that house is probably worth about $800,000. You bought a house 10 years ago when everything went to poop, everything crashed 10, 11 years ago. You bought a house, say on Blossom Hill, you bought it for $400,000. That house is worth what? $900,000.
Yeah, 1.2.
Okay, that same house right now, that's same money, $1 million. In 10 years, what's it going to be worth? About $2 million.
See, that's what I thought too.
So when he says don't buy, you're going to be locked down. I like the Bay Area. Right. That's cool for these, 20, 22-year-olds, 24-year-olds that are listening to Grant Cardone and they want to start businesses here and there and all over the place. That's cool. But I want to start a family where my family's at, where my relatives are at, where my brothers are at, where my mom is at, where my cousins, where my aunts are at. I'm cool being locked down. If that advice might work for people that are not too close to the family, that they're maybe, single, they have one mom and their mom's willing to go with them, or the mom's off in their own direction, or they're not as tight with their family, that works for them. I like being with my family. So that advice doesn't work for me. And you got to understand Grant Cardone's angle. His whole thing is invest with me. You don't need to invest your money, especially single family houses. Like, that's a great investment. That's a great investment. You're going to tell me that because I invest with you and you're going to pay me 8% or 10%, that's better than me buying a house leveraged at 96%?
Yeah, I understood that. I mean, I guess have to understand deeply like what they're trying to say. And like for example, my father like originally had a house in Almaden. I think they bought for like 20,000, 30,000, something like that.
What was it, in the early 70s?
Yeah.
Or late 60s?
Yeah, early 70s. Early 70s. Yeah, it was brand new. And then when they got appraised, it was $750,000.
Yeah.
But then, and that was in 2002 or 3, and then he eventually sold for $650 actually. So that was pretty interesting. But the point is they played the long game, and it was a good investment.
You know, one of the things is it's a simple thing. Yeah, see, everyone's got a little angle maybe, right? Grant Cardone, I know his angle because I've been listening, watching him, and he kind of tells you what's going on. Without him telling you, he tells you his angle. But for us, the Bay Area's always been, ask any homeowner in the Bay Area, has your home been terrible for you? No, it's been awesome. It's been awesome for you. Everyone bought a home at the right time, except during 2000, you know, if you buy your home in 2006, 7, and 8, and everyone went to the bottom. But if you were able to hold on to that home, and you still got it now, pretty good. Because no matter what, we're still paying rent. No matter what, if we own a house or not. We're paying rent. We're paying a mortgage. We're paying someone's mortgage. Why not pay your own mortgage? You know what I mean? You're paying rent.
Because you're paying yourself.
Yeah, you're paying your own mortgage instead of paying someone, a landlord, and they pay their. You're literally paying for the house.
That's what JC or GC said as well. There's some things like that. That's interesting.
But it's true. It's true. So when people say about don't buy a house, that's the advice for some people. I would say very few people, because most of us like where we live. Most of us want to stay near our family. Yeah. So that advice really doesn't work for a lot of people. It might work for a few. And for those that say, oh yeah, Grant Cardone says don't buy a house, it's better to rent and stay free. Paying rent is not free. Buying your house, that's awesome.
I get the concept if you have to go, but if
how many people do you know that gotta go though?
Not too many.
I don't know, not too many. I don't know. I know zero. Yeah. How do you think about it? I know 0 people that gotta go away for jobs and do this and that.
Right.
Everyone, no matter what, comes back to the house.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, if that works for you, great, but it's not gonna work for me and you and most people that are watching this. Focus where you're at, buy where you're at, focus your sales or your job wherever you're at, and get going, and then work your ass off.
What do you say to those? The new thing now, not new thing, but apparently news. The millennials are trying to buy homes, but apparently they're having a tough time doing so. Do you have advice for this?
Stop spending. Stop spending. It's that simple. So, one of the things that I tell people all the time, and people ask me, how come people are making $140,000, $180,000 a year, but can't afford a house? They can't afford their down payment. What? Instagram, Facebook is killing their finances because, I mean, Instagram is awesome, right? But people always want to be taking their pictures in, Bali or, Hawaii, and pictures all over the world in these fancy places. But that costs a lot of money. And every time you take that trip, part of your down payment is gone. I know a bunch of people, they make like $160,000. Hopefully you're not watching this. But they can't get their savings together, And it's just because they want a vacation, which, damn, that's cool. They go on vacation all these different spots. If that's what you want, perfect. But, if you buy your house will give you all these vacations. So if you get focused for a year or two, get your down payment right. And right now, all you got to do is 3.5% down, and you got a house. But for those, I would just say, stop spending. You make good money.
That's what Gary Vee says.
Yeah.
He says the same thing.
Stop spending.
Yeah, stop buying stupid shit.
Stupid shit. Yeah, stop buying stupid shit. Because that's killing you. That's killing your future. I mean, I was focused since I was, before I hit puberty.
So are there a lack of people that are focused, do you think?
Yeah, majority.
Or maybe that you know?
Well, yeah, when you think about and I'm not dogging out the millennials, but their focus is on see me.
Yeah.
See me.
Yeah.
Selfies. I've got a picture here. I'm traveling here.
That's why years ago I stopped doing it.
And it's killing their finances.
Yeah.
Because they're buying exactly what Gary Vee said.
Yeah.
They're buying stupid shit. How can you make that type of money and not be able to buy a little place for yourself? And then here's the other part. When people want to buy a house, they want to buy, oh, I can't afford to buy my dream home yet. You're not buying your first place is not going to be your dream home. My first place was in Gilroy, a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath place. In Gilroy, we're talking about 22 years ago? 22 years ago? Who wanted to live in Gilroy? No one. Now it's kind of, it's still kind of, still okay, but not that much. But think about 22 years ago. Who wanted to live in Gilroy? But that's all I could afford.
Yeah.
My next place, I bought it. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath also here in San Jose. I was 25. That was all right. But it wasn't my dream home. But I started buying one and another one, and then I built equity. Built equity. I got my tax write-offs, paid down the principal, and then, a matter of time, these properties are worth more. And then you buy.
So people aren't doing it right. Like they're trying to.
People are hallucinating.
They're trying to hit a home run right
from
away.
the get, and you can't do that. You're not. Even in Little League, who steps up to the plate first and hits a home run? No one. You need ground balls, but you're on base. When you buy your first condo, you're on base. Hit a ground ball, you made it to first. And then you get to bat again, and then again. And you get to second base. Then you get to third base. Then you start hitting doubles. Then you start hitting another double. You got to be on base first. You got to step up. You're not going to get a home run and get your dream home.
No.
You're going to step up and get a cool little, well, not even a cool condo, just a small little condo. But you got your write-off and you got your you're paying on your principal, and then appreciation starts to happen. And you got those things working for you, and you got your mind right, boom, magic starts to happen.
So then when someone's buying their home, like, what is a process do you think that they should go through? Should they just go on Zillow and start from there? Should they kind of realize, like, okay, here, what's my situation, job, living, health?
I would say Zillow's just going to give you kind of a price, but they're not really going to give you an opinion of an expert realtor. Mm-hmm. But what you got to call is you got to call an expert realtor, and then we'll tell you exactly what to do, what the steps are to be able to get a place. Because a lot of people say, oh, I want to buy a house, but I don't even know how. Yeah, of course you don't, because you're not an expert, but we can help you. And here's how we get going. And so the first step is talking to a really good realtor that knows what they're talking about, and then we help you and get you going in the right direction. But stop buying stupid shit and get focused. You know,
that's really good.
Focus.
That's really good.
That's what anything.
I know that there was one more question, but I couldn't. I forgot it again. But I definitely want to do this again with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think next time I want to maybe dive in a little bit more into it, and also talk about the supermarkets when you own supermarkets.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Marketing as well. It was really good.